Hi, it's Rebecca. This is video 2 in our series answering 2 important questions. What is workplace culture and how do we change it? In video 1, I gave you a working definition of culture as the way we relate with each other. I also gave you 4 really important things to know about culture. In this video, we're going to begin to answer the question, how do we actually change culture? And to answer that question, I'm going to share a visual with you of 4 concentric circles. And if you imagine culture being in this outside furthermost circle, culture is kind of the manifestation of a bunch of other stuff in a group of people. So we have to think about what that other stuff is in order to know how to change it. So the first layer to consider is that culture is really the result of group norms. And group norms are just sets of behaviors that a group of people, consciously or usually unconsciously, has agreed are valuable, acceptable, or at least tolerated. So the first thing to consider is that culture is about group norms. So changing culture requires changing group norms. But how do we change norms? If norms are about individual behaviors, then it's logical to assume that changing culture requires changing individual behaviors. And that thinking is definitely true. If we're going to change the culture of any organization, team, or even a family or a sports team, any group of people that wants to change its culture is going to need most or all of the people in that group to change their behaviors at least a little bit. Now, the tricky thing is that for us human beings, we don't really lastingly change our behaviors unless we change the way we think, feel, and make decisions. If I'm really going to make a change lastingly, I'm going to need to adjust, adapt, evolve my thinking, feeling, and decision making. And we classify all that stuff as our inner operating system. So in order for people to change their behaviors lastingly, with regard to how they relate with each other, they have to update their inner operating system. And our inner operating system, that's just a phrase we use for our thinking patterns, what we do with our emotions, and how we make decisions. So this is where it gets tricky. Changing culture requires changing norms. Changing norms means changing behaviors, but changing behaviors doesn't happen unless people change their inner operating systems so that they relate with each other differently. You can see that that's going to be complex and time-consuming work. And you may also be wondering, what does she mean by updating or upgrading our inner operating system? What are we upgrading from and what are we moving towards? What is that work really about? That's in the next video. I'll share that answer with you there. I'll see you then.